Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. My goal is not to create any panic, but I will report the news using about 7 articles, and I'm going to use some graphs, some charts to show you how great the global financial system is at this moment. And as you probably know, the Silicon Valley Bank bailed up, and then it was a chain reaction, and the chain reaction got even to Switzerland. Now, if it got to Switzerland and other areas, that means things are worse than we are told. That's how I have a gut feeling, okay? And even though I have so many articles to talk about, there are some, they don't call them bailouts now, they call them differently, liquidity, borrowing, lending, Federal Reserve, another National Bank of Switzerland. They don't call them bailouts. They call them, so we don't, bailout. No, it's not bailout. It's something else. Well, you figured it out on your own. I'm just going to provide you with some headlines, and I'm going to analyze the situation a little bit. So let's start with this one. This comes from the evil Russians, and it's Sputnik. It is from today, the March 18th, 2023. At least 186 US banks at, and I'm quoting, potential risk of a run similar to Silicon Valley Bank. Economists warn. All right, let's see, is the Russian economist or someone else? After the US Silicon Valley Bank collapsed at breakneck speed, followed by the bank's Signature and Silvergate, along with the Credit Suisse crisis, the US Federal Reserve's policy of rampant interest rate hikes was blamed for pushing money lenders into insolvency. At least 186 US banks are potentially facing the same risks as the recently collapsed Silicon Valley Bank, a study by a group of economists has warned. All of these money lenders are challenged by similar issues, the researchers stated, citing circulations indicating recent declines in banks' assets value. The team, including, now this, the University of South California, Erika Huawei Young, Greg Matvos from Northwestern University's Kellogg School of Management, Thomas Piskorski of Columbia's Business School, Finance, and Stanford University's Amy Seru, warned of increased vulnerability of the U.S. banking system to uninsured depositors run like that which led SVB to fail. So this is one of the articles. The second one, I'm going to use this one from yesterday, and you just get the titles, and you're going to realize that's a big, big, how do you call it, snowball that is getting bigger. So this is from 17th of March, Russia Today. Credit Suisse stocks continue slide. This is after they got $46 billion from the Switzerland's National Bank. Okay, so shares in the embattled lender plunged over 10% on Friday. Okay, that's on Friday. And then we're going to go right here. On Thursday, Credit Suisse announced it would borrow up to 50 billion Swiss francs from the country's central bank, the Swiss National Bank, to reassure investors. Okay? And it says the offer covers $2.5 billion US bonds and 500 million euros of euro bonds. And I made a video on this, and I said they will need about $250 billion at least to balance the sheet here, which I don't think is going to balance anything because it's a systemic casino-like situation. Next one. Gold surges. This is from yesterday. As U.S. banking crisis rages, the precious metal remains a safe haven for many investors, and that's very true. It says here that it jumped here on Friday. The precious metal has been extending gains since Monday, when it opened trading at $1,879 per ounce to $1,936 an ounce. Right now, I'm telling you, is about $2,000. I'm going to show you the little graph here with gold in the past day. Let's put in the past week. this is what it is in the past week. Started, let's say here, right? And then it go, now it's 1,988, which is actually yesterday. It says March 17th. So I'm gonna go to, let's say, change it to 1 month. There you have it, the 1 month. You like that? So here, this is in March 7th, where I have it right here. March 7th, it was 1,813. And right now, on the March 18th, is $1,999. All right. Now, if I want to put that against what? Against the US dollar, see how that worked? There you go. Here is the US dollar compared with the gold. And we get here, let's put it on the past week. How do you like the US dollar going here? Very well. Now, let's go to another article. This is from yesterday. Dow drops as banking stocks sink. US markets were down on Friday to end the worst week for the sector in over a decade. Bank stocks led US markets lower on Friday as investors' concerns over the health of the financial sector continued to grow. The Dow Jones Industrial Average was down over 400 points, or 1.3%, and then the S&P 500 fell 1.15%, and the tech-heavy Nasdaq Composite slid 0.9%. So that's another article. Let's jump to this one. This is another article from yesterday. Gold price nears $2,000 per ounce amid banking crisis. This is from Al Mayadeen. It's an Arab media outlet. The last time spot gold peaked at above $2,000 was in March 2022, when it reached a level of 2,070. So yeah, that was then. But if I go here to this one, and let's put it for the past, I'm going to change it to past year. See where we are right here. Let me get the US dollar off. This is the past year. This is obviously in April 12, 2022. Here was up, good, and then this is where the West started imposing sanctions on Russian gold, and then that's when it dropped, and here we are right here. We are above all this. Per this, guys, I don't know what this, see. Let's see, they said here that it was March 2022 when it reached that. So let's go to March 2022. So March 2022 is right here. And it doesn't match, is right here the biggest. Maybe it jumped for a second or two, I don't know. And this is another important piece of news. Sputnik US banks reportedly borrowed a record $164.8 billion from Federal Reserve over past week. What do you think this would trigger? What do you think this? They borrowed the money that Federal Reserve has, right? Private bank. Remember, the Federal Reserve is not a U.S. agency like FBI, CIA, and I know. This is a private bank, right? This is a Federal Reserve bank system. It's a private bank that has, I think, 10 private banks involved in all this little scheme. So U.S. banks reportedly borrowed a record of $164.8 billion from the Federal Reserve over the past week to mitigate impacts from the fallout of the Silicon Valley Bank closure. U.S. media reported on Thursday that U.S. banks borrowed a record of $152.8 billion from a discount window over the past week, according to the Fed Reserve data. The discount window is a liquidity, all right, backstop for banks. In addition, U.S. banks reportedly used $11.9 billion in a new facility usage. So these things where they say, it's liquidity, we're just going to borrow. It's just a transfer of something, printing, making numbers. These are not good signs. And that tells me somebody is not profitable somewhere. Someone really up somewhere. And instead of saying, you know what, this is the consequences, they are trying to, postpone something. They will try to postpone, and they will. All this is gonna fall on us. It's not gonna fall on them. They will be okay. Do you think they will be bankrupt and they will be poor somewhere? If they go bellied up, those guys have parachute retirement plans and other things that we can't even imagine what they have. Not all of them. The regular employees will be like us, losers, and that's what's going to happen. Everything is going to fall on us as taxes, as a society. Give too much to the banks. Remember, we can live without banks. The banks cannot live without us. So that means we are the ones who have the power in any negotiation. It's like you have, for instance, the body, an organism, and you have a finger. This finger cannot live without the rest of the body. But we can live without this. The bank is not the heart or the lungs or the brain of the body. No, it's not. Get rid of the banks. Yeah, we're going to have a little bit of a slow transactions and communication, but we can design it differently. We don't have to be the bankers. Just imagine how much public debt countries have. Remember the United States of America? How much it borrowed and from whom? There are countries, there are the lenders of this big country, like Japan. I think Japan has most of the US public debt landed in this country, and then you have Saudi Arabia, just to mention two, and China, three, and we're going to start a war with China or Saudi Arabia. It's unbelievable, my friends. We are like we as a country, if you want to put ourselves in this kind of situation, and if you don't, I will put you, a family or an individual that is almost, on the paper is bankrupt. He makes less money than he spends every day and every month, every year. And every day, every month, and every year, his debt grows and grows exponentially, grows and grows and grows. And then nobody's going to lend to him. He goes to different neighbors and gets from them money, to pay his bills, because he can't produce this much money. He can't go out there and work, and the money he gets is not enough for his lifestyle. So he borrows from other countries, in this case, other neighbors, in order to cover his spending spree. Instead of cutting that and not depending on everybody else, they depend on everybody else, not everybody else. These people and these countries, entities, and we don't know about who else is involved in this scheme. So the banking system is, I would say, you can use it, it's good, but it became that is more important than the real thing. The real thing is us people. The real thing are the businesses, not the banks. But all of a sudden, the banks are the ones, when you show up, you're like, I need, the bank, yeah, let me give you some. How much you need? 3 billion? Here you got 3 billion. And they are the boss. They are I don't know if you dealt with banks. I did in a certain, capacity. And when you deal with banks, you are treated as a customer, but they are the boss, not you. You know why? Because you need something from them somehow, and they have it. And you say, well, did you work for that? Yes, I did. Okay, well, how did they pull all this money out? From where? Where's the Federal Reserve getting the money? Where's how do they print the money? Just lend money from where? Borrow money from where? How come Japan has money to lend to the United States and they have a big BS economy? Right now is in deep doo-doo. How is that possible? And many other. I understand Saudis. That's great. So anyway, I think it's more to this than they tell us. Everything is fine. Just relax. What I can say is the same with the gold. The gold is there, and objects, goods are there, like properties, real estate. They are there. I expect a big inflation, bigger than it is. I expect a big drop in the living standards here in the West. And in the meantime, we help Ukraine destroy Russia or something. Not Ukraine. Ukraine is just, as I said many times, just a territory where this really is hot. That's all. This war against Russia and in global, how should I put it, rearrangement of the pieces started a long time ago. It started actually in 1991 when the USSR collapsed. That's when this guy said, now is the time to grab as much as we can, and we impose our schemes around the world. Look at SWIFT. That's why people look at alternatives right now, because SWIFT is, oh, you come here with a banking system, we have it, SWIFT, that's it. We don't like you, we kick you out, and you're done. Well, Russia is not done. Russia created another one. China created another one. They have to adapt to this, monopolistic, hegemonic practices. And it's one country. And the country is in deep shit economically. It's unbelievable. But if you got the guns, everybody's going to say yes, sir. And not only that, they're already interconnected. And well, we'll see. But this is the situation that I find in a few. I picked these articles not because you can't find them in the Western media, but you find them over there a little bit harder and a little bit more weasel-like. Just get the numbers and get the borrowing, the lending, the liquidity, the gold, and you realize something is wrong. If people run for gold, that means they don't trust the money. Money, the currency, whatever, the economies and so on. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.